Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. On this Friday evening, we have breaking news out of ABC News. ISIS claims responsibility in deadly attack on Russia's Crocus City Hall. If you guys aren't aware of it, there was a major shooting there in Moscow. ISIS claimed responsibility for a deadly attack on Moscow's Crocus City Hall, where at least 40 people were killed and over 145 others were wounded Friday evening, according to Russian media. Gunmen opened fire at the hall, which is one of the biggest shopping and entertainment complexes in Russia, and a large fire began after the shooting, which rapidly engulfed the complex, according to the Russian Foreign Security Services. ISIS released a statement later in the evening claiming that fighters attacked a big gathering of Christians in the Russian Moscow suburb, in a statement injuring hundreds and causing major destruction. Russia's foreign ministry called the incident a terrorist attack. It's the largest terror attack in central Russia in the terms of the number of victims since the Domodedovo airport bombing in January 2011 that killed 37 people and injured 172 others. The attack began around 8 p.m. local time when a group of at least 5 gunmen stormed the complex during a concert by the band Picnic and opened fire with automatic weapons, state news outlet RIA reported. More than 70 ambulances teams were sent to the site of the attack, according to the Moscow region governor Andriy Vorbovo. Two firefighting helicopters are also on the scene. Okay, so very curious that this is happening. Of course, we already know that Russia has been at war with Ukraine now for over 2 years, just a little over 2 years. We have the situation in the Middle East, of course, with Hamas attacking Israel. And so a lot of things are kicking off. And, of course, we know the Houthi rebels are still attacking ships as well, Houthi backed by Iran. So as we have talked about here on the BuzWeaver channel, 2024 is going to be wild, and it's just going to be a time of tumult, and it appears. And as we're continuing to see just escalations of this type of activity, because the world is in a state right now which could best be described as lack of confidence in government, lack of confidence in institutions, because it's often perceived as, for example, when it comes to the establishment uniparty here in the United States, or the globalists when it comes around the world, or the activities of Russia, where an opportunity is being seen when there's elements of weakness. And despite Russia's war, despite the United States, despite Israel having elements of strength, and of course I'm not saying that to defend Russia in particular, I'm simply making a point that we're at a state now where opportunists, enemies, adversaries are taking advantage of an opportune time in the world where the United States appears weak, Russia appears weak because of the sanctions and the continuing war that's going on with Ukraine. Ukraine is unfortunately going through its own sense of suffering as well, but also, of course, our adversaries in Iran backing the Houthis. All this is happening because the world right now, the leadership of the world in respect to certain nations, is weakened or is impacted or affected. And so opportunists like this are going to continue to take advantage of this time, this tumultuous, chaotic time. And these things are probably planned. I mean, it's not unusual, and this is concerning to me here in the United States as we continue to get thousands of people crossing our border. And these aren't just people from South America or Central America. These are people from all over the world. And we've got individuals from China. We have individuals from the Middle East. Remember not too long ago, they did find and captured a known terrorist not too long ago at the border here as he was crossing over into the United States. So this is quite extraordinary. I was just talking to someone about this and what we could anticipate. And, of course, I was just waiting to see what information would develop, because Russia isn't always forthcoming with information like this. Of course, they're always going to paint the situations in the best light of themselves to make it look like they're not weak. Because when it comes to many of these countries, whether it's Russia or China, North Korea, it's all about weakness. It's all about perception and strength. And this is why I thought it was just ridiculous that the left and the Democrats always gave Donald Trump a hard time, as though he were uncouth, as though he lacked decorum, or that he was some, Neanderthal, meandering and talking to these foreign leaders, but he was talking from a position of strength. And so they mocked him for being uncouth about it. But this is the way you have to deal with these people. As we've always talked about here on the BuzWeaver channel, different cultures see the world differently. And so ISIS probably took an opportunity here with Russia being weak, Russia being at a disadvantage, and this was an opportunity for them. And then the idea that this was more, based in a religious context, saying here that they went specifically after Christians, obviously is to send a message that not only are they there to create disruptions, but also to then bring attention to perhaps, obviously, a religious type war. They didn't say jihad here, as you notice, but of course, a lot of the times when they do this, it is a result of jihad. And then, naturally, we have what's going on with Israel and Hamas there in Israel. And the Russians were just talking about how the United States was just utilizing and using that as a form of leverage for the elections that are coming up, of course. But there are so many other things that is going on as, leading up to the election. But as we've talked about here, the establishment is going to pull all the stops. There's no one that's trying to stop the establishment here in the United States. Unfortunately, they have emboldened themselves. They are doing whatever they want to do, however they want to do it. They come right out and just say, we're doing this and we're doing that, just like we see with Donald Trump. And, and in the adversaries of the world, ISIS is just emboldened. This was an opportunity for them to create an international incident. So now that the world stage is in a state of chaos and disorder, what a great opportunity for them to do this. So this is the latest information that we have. There isn't anything else that I see developing, but it's very specific. It's obviously, as they say here, ISIS. So it wasn't some rabble-rousers in Russia or anti-Russian government type protesters or anything like that. This was obviously ISIS, because of course there's a lot of Muslims there in Russia. There's a lot of that Muslim influence within their country as well. So these people aren't always Middle Eastern in appearance. And of course, I'm not trying to base it all on generalities and these sorts of things, but just the idea is that there are Muslims in Russia. I mean, there's individuals there, as we've seen just in this recent war with Ukraine. But nonetheless, guys, I welcome your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section. What you guys are thinking. As we said, it's going to be a pretty wild 2024. And here we are. We're seeing even more of this type of chaos and international disruption. But I do welcome and thank all of you guys for your continued support here on YouTube, as well as across all social media. You guys on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey, thank you so much for your guys' support. Appearing there on the screen, that'll be the channel icon. You guys can click on that to subscribe to the channel, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.